Okay, the Grand Prix of France at Jean-Genangely. Straight away from the start in the first race, it was absolute chaos into the corners, and it took out the favourites for the race as Tyler Rattray and the championship leader Cairoli went down in a big heap. Cairoli never got back, had technical problems with the bike. We think it was the fuel line that came off, but in the race it was a fantastic race for Tommy Searle. Took it over at the front with ease from Sean Simpson, who had held the early lead, but then it was all about the Frenchman behind there. The number 81 machine in with a charge, and then right up through the order. Simpson, who was running in second position, threw it all the way into the fence, but Searle just went on his way. Absolutely victorious. Cairoli thinking about the second race in the pits, as on their way the French just packed in to the next 3 to 4 places, but it was the Red Bull KTM rider Tommy Searle who took the first MX2 race, and behind him the rest of the field were just left standing. So the number 1 for Tommy Searle, that was the first race. MX1, that was the case of all the way from the start very cleanly, and we were looking out the front, and it was the yellow bullet that went out there with Steve Ramon with Suzuki. He disappeared right out to the front of the field and took Josh Coppins with him. Everybody safely over the KTM kick, and Jonathan Bargaran, after a good run in Mallory, was still up there as well. Coppins collected the fence on the way round after Ramon took a real tumble, but then it was Pourcel who got his way up to the front. The Frenchman just drew away and away, and after being basically pushed by De Dyker all the way, right the way through, the signal came out for the Suzuki rider to push it, and he just pushed it that wee bit too far. Philipparts was having an absolute nightmare of a race, as De Dyker is so lucky not to get caught up with the bike on that crash that took him out of third place. But right at the front, it was the local man and the French hero Pourcel who got through on Coppins to take the lead away from him and just draw away. The French crowd went completely bananas because they had a French winner in the first MX1 GP over the line, and that was a taste of things still to come, as the crowd went, surprisingly, completely mad. The second MX2 race, again from the start, there was a little bit of carnage with 2 of the back markers who got collided with each other up the back, but out the front it was really starting to heat up. And when we went back to the action, who do we find out there? It's Searle and Simpson, the 2 KTM riders out there as well. Cairoli in with a chance this time. The Yamaha rider made his move on Searle down the bottom part of the course. Looked as though he was going to walk away with this, but that wasn't the story, because a couple of corners later it was all going to be a very completely different complexion put on this race, as Searle just sailed past Cairoli. Too much power in the wrong part of the track. And another one of the French guys, the number 81, he was up into all sorts of trouble and dropping out of the order, but Searle again was on his way, and this looked as though that Tommy was going to be 100% man this weekend. And then it was his teammate also coming up, Tyler Rattray, who had a bad first race and pushed his way through into the top 10, but was now going into second positions. Cairoli down in third place, still within the shout of the championship, but that was lost points. Maximum 50 points for Tommy Searle. Tyler Rattray in second position. Good day for KTM. Excellent day for Tommy Searle. On the podium, also taking the red plate. Back to the MX1, the second race, and again we look towards the front of the pack, and it was Ramon that got the whole shot, pushing the Suzuki out in front, but then he had riders queuing up behind him as all the people came along. And in the early stages, Pourcel took over running on the Kawasaki, so business as usual for the Frenchman on home ground, and with Ramon starting to seesaw backwards and forwards. This is a tremendous race, with Pourcel just managing to hang on to the lead at times. Coppins was always up there as well in third position, and he was pushing as hard as possible. Again, Philipparts, the championship leader, way down the order and having all sorts of problems, which was going to come back to haunt him early on as he got tangled up with another rider. See De Dyker going past, came into the pits, lost more places. It was just not a very good race, one which you want to forget. Jonathan Bargaran coming up into a good position in the second race, which guaranteed guaranteed him the 3rd place overall. But this was really the story. Sebastian Pourcel, again 2 wins out of 2, maximum points on the day. The Frenchman won the French Grand Prix, so you can't get better than that, celebrating with literally yards to go on the lap, and the crowd went completely mad, looking very, very cool.